Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Ritt. I'm an artist and a tarot reader, and today's reading feels, the word that's coming to me is complicated. Today's reading feels complicated, and I know that today is Easter, and I've been thinking a lot about the theme of rebirth and just how magical that is. The whole idea of being reborn. And I mean, in a broader sense, you know, not within a constricted idea of Christianity sense. I mean, a broader sense, you know, it's spring, it feels like it's really a time to experience the joy of all of this beautiful life force and color. And I know here it's a beautiful sunny day, and the birds are out, just all these creatures are inhabiting my experience, and it's a very joyful feeling. And so the rebirth of each and every one of us is, it's a theme. It's something that's been on my mind. I had a very rich conversation with a good friend about Jesus and the humanity of Jesus and the beauty of that humanity, you know? So this reading, back to this reading, it feels as if this is a time to celebrate all the beauty that we have and all the beauty that we are. But the energies here that speak to celebration, they're also inverted. And so again, it feels like we're seeds in the ground. It feels like something is quietly growing. And you have this earth energy, because pentacles are earth, 9 of Pentacles. There's a feeling of wealth and abundance, and kind of all of the wonderful things that speak to the wealth of who we are, you know, but it's on its head. And it's paired with this very celebratory, fiery energy. I mean, this is the perfect springtime energy, you know, 4 of Wands. There's such a pronounced feeling of celebration here and celebration of life. And all of the accomplishments that fall under that broader category of living our lives fully, you know, and really embracing that, it's also reversed. And so it feels as if this is again, it feels like all of this beautiful potential for us to celebrate who we are and the abundance that we have in our lives is right here, you know, but also like seeds in the ground. We're still growing into it. We're growing into that beautiful splendor. So it's almost like it's a quieted version of what this would be. You know, this to me feels very pronounced. I am who I am. I'm in the world. I'm celebrating myself. This feels like I'm quietly learning to celebrate who I am and embrace the beauty of this time of rebirth, this springtime season. You know, so this is right in the middle of this reading, and it feels like where we are currently. Now, what we've come from, this is another interesting energy. Here again, we have fire. This is 9 of Wands. This feels like, so often it's like a bend in the road. It's some kind of a turning point. It can feel like moving on. I know that here it's reversed, you know? I'm getting a couple of different things here one is that we've had to move on from different adversities in our lives. We've had to go a different route. We've had to accept that bend in the road. And the other is, and I feel like thinking of a different reader at Gemstone Tarot, Gemma, talks about the vulnerability of this position. And so, you know, because this feels very much like a wall, that this person, this soldier, right, he's ready to move beyond the confines of these wands here. He's ready to go in a different direction. But there's also this feeling of like wall up, right? You know, and here there is a vulnerability. And so it's like we've had to, maybe part of it is we've had to own our vulnerability, and we've had to accept that it's been time to move on. It's been time to move in new directions. And then coinciding with that, we have Easter, we have springtime, we have rebirth. And so I feel like, again, it's like we're quietly celebrating where we are. We're not necessarily shouting it from the rooftops. It's not a big announcement, but it's still there. And I know that I've picked up on this before. And I remember it was a different holiday, a different reading, but that theme of quietly celebrating came up, and I'm feeling it here again. Now, I feel like this is also, what I'm getting is that we're viewing it as like a temporary break in our routine. You know, it's a temporary shift, a little bright spot, because the way this reads to me, upcoming, there's this feeling of, with Hermit, right, you have a very solitary energy. Hermit it's a beautiful card. I know that it's a Virgo energy. I think of it as a kind of a spiritual self-sufficiency. There's this feeling of independence, going it alone. Sometimes it can very directly speak to feeling alone, but I also feel like there's a strength in the Hermit that speaks to daring to break away and contemplate life separate from the crowd, you know? So there's that as well. Here it's reversed, and it's next to this air energy. Here you have Knight of Swords, also reversed. And the way this reads to me, so swords are air. Air speaks to our mental processes, right? And knights are also speak to motion. And so this knight in particular feels like problem-solving energy, feels like work. It feels as if we're anticipating kind of an uphill battle where we're going to have to go it alone. We're going to have to do the work unto ourselves. It almost feels like the gloomiest interpretation of an already unpopular theme of Monday morning, right? It feels like almost worst case scenario in a very mundane way. I feel like we're anticipating having to go it alone, having to trudge through the day, you know? It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. And I do feel that the ways in which we're quietly celebrating here, there's an importance to that and a life-giving quality of that can actually sustain itself if we let it. Because this pairing to me feels like drudgery. And again, I realize it really doesn't have to be that. We don't have to succumb to that feeling of drudgery. even if it just means finding the smallest of ways to tap into our inner wealth, because this is a wealth of resources. Earth energy, Pentacles, speaks to resources that we have, internal resources as well as external, and so even if it just means dipping into the well, that cache of internal wealth that we each possess, whether that be ethereal qualities like resourcefulness or creativity or just a specific kind of intelligence that we know we have. Those are also resources. And so dipping into that in little ways can actually, at very least, stave off this feeling of I'm in this all by myself and I'm having to do the hard work. It can mean that we're resourceful in how we soothe those feelings of loneliness or insecurity, or that we're resourceful in how we, in how we brighten our worlds, and I found this within myself. Sometimes I'm very much here, and I'm feeling my brightness and my power and my creativity, and everything's just burning really bright, and then the next day my wall is up and I don't feel like I'm in the right place for anything good. But even to have the resource of self-reflection, to get a little bit of distance from my gloom or my despair, that's also Nine of Pentacles energy, because that alleviates my burden even just a little bit, so that I can return to this lovely, vibrant life force that is, as Abraham Hicks would say, who I really am. It speaks to my broader spirit. And we all have our own version of this within us. So I think it's beautiful that we're tuning into this, even in the quietest or smallest of ways today, as we celebrate this powerful springtime holiday that is Easter. Or even just if we celebrate the springtime and honor it more broadly, So yeah, it's an interesting reading. It's another one where everything is inverted, because I feel like we're in the process of a lot of growth, a lot of transformation, a lot of shifting, changing moods. And again, as Abraham Hicks would say, catching glimpses of who we are, and then maybe losing that temporarily, or feeling the drudgery, feeling the weight of these crazy times, and then finding ways to shift out of that again. And what I recognize now more than ever is that ebb and flow of time and quality of life, that it's okay that it goes up and down, that's okay, but to keep in mind my brightness and my beauty as best I can. The importance of that. The importance of quiet celebration. And today, I mean, again, where I am, it's a beautiful sunny day, it's warm. The importance of just taking in the air, the importance of appreciating the birds that are driving my cat a little crazy because they're so loud and they're so vibrant, but to appreciate that they're there, and to appreciate, the budding trees that are about to blossom, and the beauty of all that life force that surrounds us, and that's also a part of who we are. And I mean, that's what I'm getting at with this. And I mean, how perfect that with this particular deck, that the wands, the growth of the wands is so pronounced and so such a perfect summing up of that springtime energy there as well. And then I also pulled a couple of my artworks, and beyond the fact that I feel like we're right here at the center, the message that's coming to me is we're surrounded in possibility. You know? So if you think of our core being right here, there's something that feels very kind of spinal and biological to me about this energy. And then with the green, there's that theme of growth and springtime and life, you know? But it also just feels like we're surrounded in the possibility of our own thoughts, plans, ideas, ambition. You know, I'm getting that fiery energy here. There's so much possibility for growth and newness and also communicating, because this energy it's in threes, right? 3 is also the number of communication. So communicating our ideals to the broader world, you know? But yeah, we're surrounded in possibility, and we're growing. Maybe it comes back to that image of seeds in the ground, you know? We're growing, and there are quieter days, you know, that, I mean, the very context of a seed beneath the ground, that is rather quiet to the outside world. So there's a quietness in that, in the way that we're quietly celebrating here, right? And here. But we're also surrounded in the kind of possibilities that I think really do speak to wanting to shout things from the rooftops and really wanting to exude that brightness, that vibrance that also speaks to our truest spirit. So yeah, it's a little bit like, this feels a little bit like energy in progress that we're at the center of. And again, there's all this possibility for, well, what's coming to me is divine knowing. And I feel like that comes through these in a lot of my readings. So, but just that possibility for higher communication, bolder, more powerful communication, really relaying what we're passionate about to the world. But again, like, as we're ready to do so. It's got to be on our own terms, at our own levels of readiness. But yeah, a lot of possibility coming through here. And then here, I feel like, and now I'm thinking of Chris at Minnow Pond Tarot, because there are pyramids in the Knight of Wands tarot card, and he talks about the pyramids and the mystery that they represent. I feel like there's a lot of mystery in this card, and so it feels as if we're learning to really feel deeply and connect or reconnect with our heart energy, or that inherent kind of divine feminine energy is what I'm getting from this. I mean, this kind of, there is a kind of a graphicness to this one that to me speaks very much to that goddess energy, and the mysteries inherent within that. So whereas this is saying there's all of this potential to really be and assert ourselves in the world, and we're kind of gathering information about that as we grow within ourselves, you know? This feels like the more masculine assertion of that energy, this feels like it's going back to that message of like, we're also learning to know and stay in touch with our divine knowing that speaks to kind of that mystery of non-linear knowledge and information. So psychic information coming through, different spiritual truths that resonate with us in different ways, in deeply personal ways, you know? It kind of feels like you need to have both of these energies in play in order to really feel integrated and whole and powerful in who we are. It feels like to act from that place of deeper nonlinear knowing, and then to be able to assert ourselves in the world, to kind of grow into that place of action and assertion and executing plans. This is a very interesting combination of energies. And even here, I feel as if the yang to the yin energy, it's inherent within both of these. I feel like there's a yin element to this, but this feels very yang. And then there's a yang element to this, you know, but it also to me feels very yin and very suggestively yin to me. I feel like, yeah, it's an interesting and kind of a perfect pairing. So also, again, it feels like anything but drudgery. It almost feels like the reading of these particular artworks, it's just showing me how much truer to ourselves and our aspirations we can be as an alternative to having to feel Monday morning drudgery, you know? That there are ways to continue to tap into this perfect balance of yin and yang that we have within us. I feel like that is also a broader message that I'm getting here. So to continue to celebrate this divine, both earthly and divine cache of wealth that we hold within ourselves, to celebrate that, even quietly, to quietly celebrate that, is very joyful and it's very fulfilling. And it's a lovely, I feel like it's kind of a lovely piece that forms the heart of this reading. I feel like what it tells me is that we are exactly where we need to be. And while that's always true, here it feels like we're doing it more constructively and more joyfully, you know? So, good on us for tuning into who we are and finding ways to honor that. Because I also feel like that's a part of what this reading is about and what this holiday feels like it's about, is honoring our regenerative qualities with that theme of spring and rebirth. Honoring that. Also just honoring the bends in the road that we're intuiting, you know, that we're intuiting our way forward. And so to honor the twists and turns of life as well as honoring our inner wealth. And recognizing that even as we're anticipating this feeling of drudgery or joylessness or having to go it alone, again, I'm getting that, having to work very hard and feel very much on our own, that it doesn't have to be that way. Because we have a different balance inside of us that we can find ways to continue to honor beyond today. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this reading and that it's resonated with at least some of you. It's a very interesting one today, very twisty, turny, these readings are always full of surprise, and this one, no exception. So again, I hope that you all continue to have a lovely Easter, if Easter is what you're celebrating, spring, if spring is what you're celebrating more broadly. And I hope that you all continue to celebrate who you are and to really tap into that wealth of who you are. And for those of you interested, I do have a Patreon. I know I make it a point to bring it up in each and every video because it's important. You know, it's important for those of you interested in giving back to me and to this channel. Patreon is a really lovely platform that allows me to accept monthly donations from you, and there are different benefits that go along with that. So again, if you're interested, I encourage you to check it out. The link is down below. And I will see you again soon. Bye for now.